All right, listen to me. The Japanese, they don't speak clearly. Not when they're refusing you, not when they're expressing love, and certainly not when they're talking about pride. They don't just come out and say what they feel. But make no mistake, that doesn't mean they feel nothing. You'd better pay attention.
And because of this, what happens? They get hit with this accusation all the time. The Japanese are so indecisive. Some people see it as a straight-up failure of character. And that leads to another common complaint, doesn't it? I just don't know what they're thinking. It feels like you're hitting a wall of ambiguity. And for outsiders, well, it's frustrating as hell. And then there's the big one, the charge you hear more than any other. They never say what they really mean. The idea that they're always hiding their true feelings, their hone.
But I'm asking you, is that really true? Or is it possible that you've just failed to understand the rules of engagement? Today, we're not just looking at words. We are going to dissect the Japanese language itself. And you are going to learn how the very soul of its people is forged right into their words. So, let's get started. We begin with the art of refusal. Think of it this way: how to say no without declaring all-out war. This is your first lesson. Don't you dare fail it. All right, here's your first piece of crucial intelligence. This phrase right here, that's a little difficult. You'll hear all kinds of versions. I have a few other plans, but the key word you need to lock onto is a little. So what does it really mean? Don't you be a fool. The word chotto here has nothing to do with a small amount. Nothing. It is a tactical signal, and that signal means no, a very high probability of no. If you take it literally, you're just walking straight into a trap you set for yourself. So why? Why all this maneuvering? The reason is simple. It's strategic. The entire Japanese language is built to prioritize one thing above all else: social harmony. It's a tool for keeping the peace, not for winning some petty argument. Think about English. It's a blunt instrument, a clear yes, a clear no. But Japanese, it's a rapier. It's a master of softening the blow. It won't say I can't do that. It'll say, well, that's a bit difficult. See what's missing? The I. The subject is often just gone. It shrouds the whole thing in a strategic fog. So listen up, because this is the critical takeaway. This is not indecisiveness. It's not a character flaw. It is a design feature of the language built specifically to minimize conflict. It's why, and you better get this through your head, you never take "please stop by when you're nearby" literally. You show up unannounced, you'll just scare the hell out of them. Don't be that person. Okay, this same principle, this indirectness, it absolutely applies to matters of the heart. So now we turn our attention to the language of love. You'll hear "suki dayo," I like you. That's common enough. But "aishiteru," I love you, that's a whole different story. It's incredibly rare. You won't hear it from a boyfriend. You won't even hear it from a mother to her child. So why not? Because in the Japanese view, a word with that much power doesn't belong on the mundane battlefield of everyday life. Aishiteru isn't your daily ration. It's the final, dramatic flare you shoot up in a truly special moment. Using it casually, it just comes off as theatrical, way over the top. And don't you dare mistake this for weak feelings. It is the exact opposite. This is a culture that deeply understands the raw power of strong emotions, and because of that, they refuse to just deploy them in public. It's all about protecting the atmosphere, the taba. You don't just crank up the emotional temperature for no reason. Honestly, aishiteru is probably best saved for a deathbed confession. Don't you forget it. All right, moving on, we're advancing to the topic of pride, and this brings us to the grand misconception surrounding honet, what you think of as true feelings. In English, it's simple, right? You say, I'm proud of my son. It's natural, it's seen as a good thing, a clear declaration of pride. But in Japan, you just don't say that. Instead, you use self-deprecation as a kind of social shield. You'll hear someone refer to their own child as my foolish son, or their spouse as my foolish wife. And about themselves, oh, I still have a long way to go. Now listen to me. This is not what they actually feel. And this is where you can really screw up. Here's a critical rule of engagement. Let's say a mother calls her son osuku, my foolish son. If you are stupid enough to agree with her, oh yeah, he is pretty useless, isn't he? You have just destroyed that relationship forever. Why? Because when you lower yourself, it's politeness. When someone else lowers you, that's an attack. So the lesson here should be crystal clear. In Japanese, words alone do not determine the meaning. It's all about your position, your relationship, the context of the situation.
They might say these things about their family, but believe me, they love them fiercely. Do not forget this. Now, let's look at another piece of this linguistic architecture. I want you to consider this expression. In English, you just say it, contact me ASAP. Simple. But in Japanese, the request gets softened. Please contact me when you have a free moment. So I'm asking you, does that really mean you can wait? Don't be an idiot. Of course not. They want that reply and they want it now.
Look at the structure. You need to pay attention. The first part of the sentence, that's the cushion, the buffer. It's there to soften the impact. But the second half, that's where you'll find the real mission objective. This cushion first, truth second formation is a standard tactic in Japanese communication. Learn to recognize it. And this isn't just a choice of words. This design is baked right into the grammar itself. A direct command like yarinasai, do it, gets transformed into a much softer suggestion. Yatta hoga ii desu yo. It would probably be better if you did it. See, this language prefers indirect fire over a full frontal assault.
All right, we're reaching the conclusion. Here's what you need to understand. The Japanese language is not linear. It doesn't march in a straight line from what someone thinks to what they say. And that is the source of all your misunderstanding. But it is not born from dishonesty. Get that straight.
The first thing you have to accept is this. Japanese is not a language built for two truths to clash in open combat. Instead, its purpose is to arrange the atmosphere, to carefully manage the social environment and make sure everything remains stable. The whole point isn't to say every single thing on your mind. No, the goal is to build trust in what's left unsaid, in that shared space where you both understand without having to spell it all out. So this is my command to you. If you are serious about learning this language, you have to know more than just vocabulary and grammar. You have to understand its very soul. Because the literal meaning of the words is not the true feeling of the Japanese. But when you finally get it, when you grasp the culture that's hiding behind the words, then the entire language will open up to you. Your conversations in Japanese will finally become authentic. This isn't a suggestion. It is your mission. Now get out there and succeed.